This is B2 Real Wilson back with another video. In this video, I want to strive to contrast someone in the Old Testament by the name of Nehemiah, who was a cupbearer who had close ties to the king of Persia. And I want to contrast him with Judas Iscariot, who was a follower of Jesus Christ, the treasurer. And here we go. I have been noticing a lot lately that we have people in our community, and I'm sure some of you guys know too, that have made a deal to take what I'll call the Judas Iscariot challenge. In this video, I want to strive to encourage us all to be more like Nehemiah. We're very familiar, most of us are familiar with who Judas Iscariot is. Well, we don't know, a lot of us, who Nehemiah was and is, because these characters or these traits exist in people today. And so I want to begin by saying Nehemiah was a cupbearer in Persia during the time of the Jewish captivity into the various countries, whether it be in Assyria, Babylon, and Persia. Nehemiah had got wind that some of his brethren had escaped and had went back to Jerusalem. And, he inquired about the state of the country and the state of Jerusalem and the temple. And he had got word that it was, it was very negative, that everything, that the temple was toned down and Jerusalem was in shambles, and it troubled him in his heart. And it troubled him to the point where it caught the king's attention, the king of Persia's attention. And he began to pour out his heart to the king what his issue was, and began to ask if he could go back to Jerusalem to build Jerusalem back up. And the king gave him favor, and allowed him to go back to Jerusalem. As the ADOS fundamental Black American community, it is imperative for us to have the character traits of Nehemiah. Nehemiah loved his people. He loved the ways of Israel. I believe he was a righteous man. The only thing about it was he had close ties to the king because he was a cupbearer. And so, he had certain duties, and he had to have a certain character. Otherwise, if you guys understood history, kings were allowed to kill you, whether you didn't cook the food right or you wasn't an excellent cupbearer. This goes back to the book of Exodus with, two men who, one was a cook and one was a cupbearer. The cupbearer was allowed to go back to Pharaoh, and the cook was killed. So Nehemiah had to have a great character, and he had gained favor with the king of Persia. We have a lot of people in our community who have positions, what I would consider positions with the king. This could include politicians. This could include entertainers, sports stars, those in high places. But I haven't noticed a lot of being concerned with the community of the ADOS fundamental Black American community, which could be considered as the Jewish community. I'm speaking metaphorically. And so it seems as though a lot of these people in these spaces are taking on what I call the Judas Iscariot challenge. Now, Judas was a follower of Jesus Christ. Judas Iscariot was a follower of Jesus Christ. And, he was a treasurer, but he did not love the Lord at all. He was following Christ for what he could get. He was, for lack of a better word, a capitalist, and a greedy capitalist at that. And, he never intended to, change his ways worth anything. But like I said, he was following Christ, for what he could gain financially. Now, my personal belief is that what was the icing on the cake for him was when a woman came with a very expensive bottle of oil. And Judas Iscariot knew that this oil would make a lot of money. And like I said, he was a treasurer of the money that, that the apostles, at that time, the 11 apostles, he made 12, were in charge of. And so he looked at this expensive oil as a way to make money for himself. Now, him being a very tricky man, tried to make like he was concerned about children and made this comment to Jesus that, that you could sell that oil and have money to give, to the poor. He said poor children. But Jesus told him to leave her alone, and concerning what the things she done is a good thing, on behalf of, doing what she's supposed to be doing. So I believe this was the icing on the cake where he began to betray the Lord and went and betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. And if you look at what 30 pieces of silver was, it's no more than I think $197. That's the amount of 30 pieces of silver. So Judas Iscariot sold the Lord out for very cheap. We have to be careful, because what I'm saying, I'm gonna always say be careful, because it seems like the word says be careful for nothing. And when we're dealing with this society that we're living in, we have to be careful. And I understand that we are not, we don't have a lot of economics in our community. And sometimes we may view ourselves through the eyes of celebrities and those who we think have money. But that is no reason to sell your community out for money, or for a woman, or for a job. But it seems as though this seemed to be a problem in our community. Unlike Judas Iscariot, Nehemiah had love for his people. And he really was concerned. You know what I'm saying? It brought pain to his heart to know the condition of Jerusalem. And so I believe this is the character that we should take on in 2020 and beyond. It is very, very important that we consider what is happening. And if you know the story of Judas Iscariot, he committed suicide. He also tried to give back the money, to the scribes and Pharisees, but they wouldn't take it back. So, we have people, from my perspective, in our community, that are selling us out for money. This can include politicians. I'm speaking to those of the ADOS, fundamentally Black American community, because we have to care for each other. This is our time to be about the politics of reparation. This is also the time to work on yourself. I'm going to always be saying it in my video, because I think it's important to not just talk. You have to learn to do the walk. And I'm just striving to do my part to make sure we stay on track. Now, for those who don't like what I'm saying, I'm sure you're going to always, you don't have to watch this video, and that's your right. But for those that do watch the video, this is really for you, because we haven't really exposed the Judas Iscariots in our community. Unfortunately, we worship them, and we talk highly of them. When they die, but when they're alive, they seem to have no concern about issues at all. I haven't heard any, whether it be basketball player, rapper, or journalist, or actress, or actors say they were for reparations. It seemed to be a quiet thing. And what also gets me, and I made this in one of my other videos, is that we have people that's supposed to be concerned about the business of reparations who are still focusing on other things. I think I'm hearing about Michelle Obama, and things of this sort. And why is she on our mind? Clearly, if you know the research, Michelle Obama, like her husband, didn't care for our community. But you have to research their policies. You have to research who they're hanging with. And you can't say you love us and you love President Bush Jr. as well. Not saying he's a bad man, but at one point I thought he was the enemy of the Democrats. So somebody's not being honest here. And Donald Trump and the Clinton family were friends. Before he got elected to, Trump got to be elected to president. And as far as I know, they still could be friends. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have the right to just do what we're doing, the way we're doing it in this current time. We have to be very careful that we are striving to be Nehemiah. For me, it's very good to know, about my community. Like I said, I wasn't raised this way, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Is it tough telling people about these things because they don't care? You know what I'm saying? It seems like the only thing we're concerned about is fun, family, and money. You know what I'm saying? And there's more to this life besides family and money. Jesus died for the sins of the world. God so loved the world. He didn't do it for his family. Although he came to the Jews first, he ultimately was for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to be concerned for our group. And I believe if we do it correctly, we will have a positive impact on everybody outside the group. We have to heal as ADOS, fundamentally Black Americans. We have to heal. But we have to take the time to know what our issues are and take the time to focus on our issue. And I'm not saying you can't have European friends and, for those of you who are into interracial marriages, it would be good if you spend the time to educate each other on each other's history and on each other's needs. The ADOS, fundamental Black American needs, is to be made whole. To be made whole. And that's that. Whether we understand it or not, like it or not, or believe it or not. We also got to work on ourselves. Because, we say, I got in a conversation with this gentleman, and he said, we're the children of God. He said, we're the Jews. And, well, what does that look like? And like I said, too many of us were not like Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a righteous man. Nehemiah was a man of love. He was not selfish, full of bad behavior. And that's, from my perspective, that's a Jewish person. It isn't a name, it's more of a lifestyle. And the word do say Jesus, King of the Jews. So Jesus ought to be the ultimate example for all Jews. And so, and I'm going to put Israelites in there too, because some people say, we're not Jews, we're Israelites. Well, for you too. Because Jesus had a man by the name of Philip, or Nathan, I think his name was Nathaniel, or Bartholomew, who was a Jew, Israelite indeed. And he was a follower of Jesus Christ as well. So whether it be Jew or Israelite, Jesus is your king. And with that being said, going back to Nehemiah, it was, very refreshing, but it made me think about, are you Nehemiah or are you Judas Iscariot? Are you really concerned about our community? Or are you in so many spaces, black spaces to make a buck? It seems to be a problem. People are in these spaces to make a buck, and they seem to be hustling off the people. That's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? We got to take the money mentality out of our lives. The Lord say, take no thought for what you should eat or what you should drink or what you should wear. But he do tell us to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things should be added unto you. So I don't have to sell you out for 30 pieces of silver. And so I can do it, but I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to, ask ourselves, which are you, Nehemiah or Judas Iscariot? Because you're one or the other. That's the fact. Somebody says, well, I don't believe in that Bible. But that don't change the fact. You're in the book. You're still in the book. And so, I just want to put this video out to put something in your mind, because it just seems that we have more Judas Iscariots out here, and we either we don't see them, or maybe because we're Judas Iscariots ourselves, we don't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's not my goal to be a Judas Iscariot. I really respect Nehemiah. He was able to rebuild Jerusalem and he had favor with the king of Persia. And so with that thought, for those of you that like this video, I'm sure you're going to let me know. For those of you that don't like this video, I'm sure you're going to let me know as well. But either way it goes, thanks for watching. Okay then. Bye-bye.